Chapter 6. The Discard Shock, Cold Detachment, Handing Over the Bad Object, and the Liminal Gate Shift. The discard doesn't feel like rejection. It feels like reality stops holding you. One minute you are a person in a relationship with a future, a meaning, a narrative. The next minute you are watching a face go blank, watching warmth turn to administrative coldness, watching the bond you lived inside become a transaction. And what follows isn't a clean grief. It is shock, then compulsion, then a strange, suspended state where you're half alive and half waiting. This chapter names that moment correctly, not as heartbreak, as organising gate rupture. In the MPIT paper, the ASR is defined as a pre-conscious gate that evaluates, filters, and organizes affective, interoceptive, and relational stimuli before they reach conscious awareness. The same paper defines the collapse sequence with clinical bluntness. When the ASR gate fails through relational trauma, misattunement, or shared fantasy rupture, ASR1 is reactivated, ASR2 is bypassed, and ASR3 forms a looping fantasy state, producing dissociation, reality distortion, and false self-construction. That is the discard shock structurally. What cold detachment actually does to the psyche. Cold detachment is not simply being unkind. It is a specific type of rupture, a withdrawal of relational reality. You are not only losing a person, you are losing the organizing function the person had come to occupy inside your gate. That is why the body reacts as if something lethal has happened, because at the level of the organizing gate, something has. The MPIT paper describes ASR1 as pre-symbolic, pre-narrative, and occurring before cognitive mentalization can stabilize perception. The body's primal recognition of intolerable fragmentation. This is why, in discard, the first wave is not thought. It is the chest drop, the gut collapse, the dizziness, the unreality. You don't decide to feel that. It arrives as a reflex. The handing over of the bad object. Here is the part survivors struggle to name. The moment you feel yourself hand something over. It's not a choice, it's a transfer. In the instant of rupture, the psyche assigns authorship to the object again because it is trying to stop annihilation. This is the handing over of the bad object. You start treating their withdrawal as a verdict on your being. Their silence becomes a sentence. Their detachment becomes your internal climate. Fairbairn described internalization of the bad object as the child's solution to relational rupture. MPIT sharpens the mechanism. The internalization is not merely cognitive, it is somatic. It is recorded at the level of ASR1. So discard doesn't just hurt you, it installs a bad object into the gate. And once that bad object sits in the gate, your reality begins to reorganize around it. The liminal state, where time suspends and narrative runs. After the shock, most survivors enter what they describe as limbo. They're still functioning, sort of, but they're not inside life. This is the liminal gate shift. You are suspended between it's over and it might return. The mind runs narrative to reduce surprise. The body treats uncertainty as threat. The system starts scanning for any signal that can restore coherence. The MPIT paper explicitly links gate failure to unbearable surprise and predictive rupture, describing how, when the gate fails, symbolic rupture ensues and the psyche retreats into fantasy. That is the liminal state, fantasy as emergency architecture, not romance, not denial in a simple sense, a survival substitute for a gate that cannot metabolize rupture. The driver parts that switch on during discard. This is where Chapter 5 becomes operational. Once the gate is hit, the psyche deploys specialists. Mute child, ASR1 signature. The smallest part of you comes forward. Pre-verbal dread, submission, disappearance. ASR1 is pre-symbolic and pre-narrative. So the mute child doesn't argue with reality, it collapses under it. False protector, controller as substitute mediation, monitoring, checking, scanning, replaying. If I can understand it, I can stabilize it. This is what happens when the gate cannot organize meaning. Behavior tries to replace mediation. Redeemer, narcotic hope. Rescue logic, bargaining. If I just explain it properly. This is the psyche's attempt to reverse rupture by repairing the object, because the object had become a regulator. Truth self, ASR2 flicker. Sometimes you get 10 minutes of clarity. No theatre, no bargaining. Just, it's gone. That flicker is ASR2 trying to reassert reality mediation. The key is not to moralize which part appears. The key is to locate which part is driving under which gate state. Discard leading to CIPR. When collapse becomes I'm not real. Some survivors do not simply grieve, they fragment, they derealize, depersonalize, become terrified of their own mind, lose continuity, lose sleep, lose the ability to sequence time. MPIT names this collapse-induced psychotic regression, CIPR. In the MPIT paper, the author explicitly states that survivors of narcissistic abuse often report overwhelming fear or body-level collapse during discard, and proposes that the abuser reactivates ASR1 through symbolic rupture, abandonment, betrayal, derealization, pushing the survivor into CIPR, described as temporary severe derealization and fragmentation. This matters because it stops the shame. You're not going mad because you're dramatic. You are experiencing a predictable gate failure pattern under symbolic rupture. The mechanical loop that follows. Orbital pull. Once CIPR begins, or even if it doesn't, the next structural consequence is almost universal. The gate tries to restore coherence by returning to the object. That return can be external, contact, pleading, messaging, or internal, checking, fantasizing, rehearsing, scrolling, reviewing, imagining the apology, replaying the last conversation. This is not weakness, it is a stabilization attempt. Because, as the MPIT paper states, when the gate fails, ASR1 reactivates, ASR2 is bypassed, and ASR3 forms a looping fantasy state. ASR3 looping is what orbital pool is, a false organizer running the system. The danger is not the pain, the danger is that the loop becomes the new normal, and the loop keeps feeding the very object that ruptured you. The correct order of intervention after discard. This book is not therapy by phrase, it's a structure. So the order is strict. If ASR1 is dominant, terror, threat to being, you do not interpret, you do not chase meaning, you stabilize the body and reduce input, because ASR1 is pre-symbolic and pre-narrative. If ASR3 is dominant, fog, compulsion, fantasy looping, you do not negotiate with thoughts. You locate the driver part and interrupt the ritual feeding the loop. Because the loop is not neutral, it is maintenance. When ASR2 flickers, truth becomes readable. You don't waste it. You use it to reseat authorship. One clear boundary, one clear sentence, one clean act of self-location. This is the first reintegration move. Return mediation to the self. Transition to Chapter 7. Now we take the liminal state seriously because it's where most survivors get trapped, not in missing them, in reality distortion maintained by a looping gate. Peace out. Loads of love.